If you've been kind enough to follow my videos on this website before, you probably have seen some of these pictures that I've shown you. This is Big Dan Brothers of the 1890s. He played into the early 20th century, and I want you to notice his hand positioning. Right over the buttons, as I call it, and down low as well. I've got several of these. This is Fred Clark, the manager and mentor of a guy by the name of Hannes Wagner. And you can see the same hand positioning there. Over the buttons, low. His hands were also kind of spread like Ty Cobb's. Cobb wasn't the only one to do that. This is Jimmy O'Rourke. And you can see again that he's got the hands in exactly the same way, and I'm making my point. I'm going to show you just one more. Got to show you Sam Thompson, he was like Big Dan, a fellow who played in the 80s and 90s. He's in the Hall of Fame. This is a book about Hall of Fame ball players. There he is. He's got the same tall, slender guy. But the hands are the same position over the buttons and low, almost over the belt buckle. Why did those guys hold their hands there? I've never figured that out. I've been writing books about this and researching it and trying to rediscover the dead ball era. And of course, to understand any era, you have to understand the era that precedes it. If you want to understand the 60s rebels, you have to understand the 50s beatniks and the post-war generation. That's what I believe. So I'm trying to research the 90s to understand Ty Cobb and Tris Speaker and the guys that I'm more interested in. I'm interested in this from a historical perspective, but I'm also convinced that there may be some lessons there that our guys today could learn so that they don't strike out so much and so that they put more low-line drives in play. I don't know if anyone will ever hit 400, but we could get a lot closer. That so many guys right now in the summer of 2020 who are hitting 158. I'm John Harris, by the way, and my website is smallballsuccess.com. I'm still slurring I'm saying small ball success because I've had a little bout of something called Bell's palsy. It's related to Lyme disease, and it happens sometimes if you live out in the boondocks. But I've gotten over it in about 3 weeks, and for most people it takes 3 to 6 months. So I'm feeling like I've actually caught a break there. But back to these hitters of yore. Why did they do that? Why are they holding their bat that way? I was never able to figure that out. If you watch my other videos, you know that the way that I like to start, I like to be leaning forward and have the barrel almost on the ground. And then when I lift it up, I can do that little shuffle into the ball. Now we know that Speaker and Roush and sometimes even Babe Ruth did. I saw a video from 2004 where Jose Reyes was doing it the other day. So everybody didn't forget about that, but most of us have. I think, though, that I can still energize, catalyze that shuffle and hold the bat a little higher. And this is what I discovered. You can see my hands here, and that's all you need to see, really. So the barrel is not down on the ground this time. I got it lifted up. I'm still going to pump with the bottom hand, but I'm going to get that little pump to shift me on my back foot. But now I've got the bat a little more up, and I'm going to pump one more time. I'm actually going to try to have the barrel drooping a little bit behind me. So pump on the back foot and then have the barrel droop a little bit to balance it. You can't see it, but I'm pointing my toes into the ground. And I've got almost a balance here. If if I need to, I can kind of delay my stroke into the ball. Sometimes I'm going to be a little bit early. And in the video I'm about to show you, which I made maybe 3 days ago, I was slurring even worse then than I am now, but sometimes I am early. And when you do this, you can actually give a little toe tap. You can land early on your toe or do a little tap with your toe and then get back up and still come down into the ball. Another thing is that if you're late, so you get up and you don't really have time even to get that front leg straightened out. You just have to fall back. And maybe you hit the ball foul, but at least you got a piece of it. This is one of the, I don't know, maybe this is the single thing, if I had to explain to a group what it was that made dead ball era special, dead ball era hitters special, what made them contact hitters. I think it would be the incredible fluidity of their stroke. We would say, oh, this isn't going to work, there are too many moving parts. Yeah, but all the parts are moving together toward the pitch. You can be too late and your front foot is not yet where you want it to be, so you can have a complete weight transfer, but you can fight the pitch off because everything is moving into the ball. You can be early and your front foot comes too soon, but you can be coming into you can actually let your hand slip off the top hand slip off the bat, which is what happens, of course, with all of us when we get too early on a changeup, but everything is still moving into the pitch. You're not keeping, you're not planting the foot and then leaning back. Everything's moving into the pitch, so the barrel continues to travel into the ball. I think that's the secret of their great success. They, as contact hitters, as low line drive hitters, it was like they were taking everything down a funnel into that pitch. And whether the timing was early or late, their movements were still so focused on various vectors into that one point that they could usually get a piece of the ball. I hope you notice on the video, I just happened to film this because I wanted to study what was happening with my swing, and then I decided, well, I'm going to make a video for the internet about this because I think it's working out pretty well. I'm amazed that this is succeeding so well. So it's not terribly polished, but I did decide that I would, after doing the side angle, I would do an angle from right behind me so you can actually see the machine as it's spitting out these golf-sized wiffle balls. And because the machine works so fast, I can't figure out how to get it to slow down. I think I injured it at some point. But sometimes I don't have enough time to set up, and so I do get quick pitched. And it's interesting to see what happens then. And sometimes they're a little early because all I have is a little green light to key on. So there again, I learned from this machine the advantages of a swing that is adjustable, as adaptable as this swing is. You can tell that I'm hitting most of these pitches up the middle. You can tell that I get on top of some of them, but I'm not, for the most part, beating them into the ground. They might, in a real ball game, they might be a three-hopper or something, but the ground balls would have a good chance of getting through. I'm getting some good low-line drives, though. This is the way I think that ball players 3-4 generations ago used to play the game, and I sure would like to see us get back to that. Now let's look at a demonstration. It's too fast for me. two parts, dos partes. You have to, the bottom hand push out and load up, and then this bottom end goes up again as I straighten out my, almost point the toe deliberately into the ground. Push out the load, and a little more, stretching the rubber band. Killing. Shoot up that last one. You got out in front. Change up. The hardest thing I'm finding right now to do properly is to, okay, there's a two-part load. First pump with the bottom hand is just to get on the back foot, take that little hop. But the second, that's the hard part. Lift with the front hand a little bit more without taking it back with the backhand, because if I bring it back with the backhand, I'm going to be dipping onto the ball. I'm going to be doing that later swing that I don't want to be doing. I'm not going to be taking a track right straight down into the ball. But when I do that right, the two-part load, I'm nailing them. Wow.